spite of the fact that I did say in the interview that I love broadcasting, but then you try to discover other areas, you try to improve yourself, and tourism, again, was young in the Gambia. And let's face it, we all look forward to some incentive in life. You can't be stuck. In fact, I'll tell you something that somebody said to me in those days when I was with Radio Gambia. The wages were so low. Somebody said, and if I can use quote in the vernacular, he said to me, "Yo Gabidon, yo daga jaka faida. Yo nga nek fi ñata at di la fay per month." Man ko, yes, I love the job. You know, that was my dedication to broadcasting and the love for it. But then again, like I said, you move on, and I moved over to tourism as a trainee press officer, and then I got sent to the COI in London. That's the Central Office of Information, where I was trained in different aspects of not only the tourism aspect, but with the COI particularly, it was like newspaper layout, the mast, cropping and scaling, all that kind of thing. I did that course and came back, and then I was promoted to tourism press officer. And then when our office in London, I beg your pardon, in America was being opened, Mr. Sambafai was then the head of the tourism department in America. I traveled with the then permanent secretary, Mr. Swara Jaha, and the then Minister for Tourism, Mr. H.O. Semegajani. They all, well, Mr. Semegajani, of course, is deceased, but we all traveled to the States for the opening of the office in America. And then came back and I continued, and then I became assistant marketing manager because Mr. Sheikh Tijan Yang was then my boss. Well, he was immediately above me. And then in '89, the opportunity came for me to be sent to the UK to be the tourism attaché, information and tourism attaché. And it was as if I wore two hats. I was also sort of director of tourism. That also I enjoyed tremendously.
Before you went to England to be attached at the embassy, High Commission in England, you also did programming for the Ministry of Tourism.
Oh yes, certainly. Tourism, yes. It's a good thing you brought that up, because I used to do programs in English called Tourism and You. But I thought, apart from that, as a support to that, which was usually translated, you do it in English and then it's translated into Wolof, Mandinka, including interviews and vox pop, the whole thing, the whole range. I also edited a small newsletter called the Jaliba. I named it the Jaliba. But then I thought, it's not reaching too many people. Broadcasting was a better media to reach out to people, because like I said, we didn't have television in those days, so broadcasting was the main thing. People relied on it. And like you said, when I read the news, it's embarrassing to say this. People used to say to me, whenever you come on the air, we put everything down and listen to you. Which is, I mean, I'm not glorifying myself. It's just one of those things. And I'm proud to be able to appreciate that, you know. And I mean, it's unfortunate I don't live here. My dad used to say, east or west, home is best. I come every year. I love my country. I don't carry a British passport. I'm still a Gambian.
What were the best days in your broadcasting career? What would you reflect upon and say these were the best of times?
I remember when General Yakubu Gowon came to the Gambia on a state visit. I was privileged to be the announcer at McCarthy Square. I think CD was at the airport. I can't remember the things were done. But apart from giving commentary, I was also the MC at the State Ball at State House. That was a fantastic experience because you had the Super Eagles on one side and then you had the Gambia Police Band on the other side. And I referred to the Super Eagles then as Gambia's musical ambassadors. And of course, our old faithful, the Gambia Police Band. Then in those days, I think it was under the baton of Mr. C. Mr. C was a police officer. Can't remember his exact rank or title, but he was a Mr. C.
You're watching the interview. My guest is Joseph Gabidon. And Joe, let me come now to, in everything there are difficult times as well.
Oh, yes, there have been.
It's not always rosy.
No, life is not rosy.
And of course there were difficult times as well. What were some of the difficult periods in your career as a broadcaster in those days?
I can remember two
The
occasions.
money wasn't much, one?
No, there must have been loads and loads of them. But I can just remember, I think, two occasions when the first occasion was I asked somebody, I will mention names, asked somebody to cover, because then the broadcasting officer was a man called Badulo. And he'd asked me to get one of the members of staff to cover a gamo. In those days, we used a UHA machine. So I got this person. I gave the person enough notice. I got the person to sign for the UHA, got her tapes, went out, supposed to have gone out to cover this gamo. The program was supposed to come the following day in the evening. In the morning, went to work, asked this person, where are the tapes? Defomoko. I said, what? Oh, I didn't do it. I said, what do you mean you didn't do it? Didn't you cover the gamo? No, I didn't go. I said, why? Oh, some excuse. I said, what do I tell my boss? This program's got to come on the air tonight. Anyway, I got a bit of free talk. I had to report, obviously, to my boss, because we had to find an old tape or something, or even where we covered other gamos in other areas, they had to be edited. And this was the main one, because I think this was being held in Banjul somewhere, Dobson Street or something.
Okay.
Sheikh Omar Fai's compound.
Very well.
Anyway, I got a bit of bother and a spot of trouble with that. The only other occasion, which was a very sad one, was when I had to read out the obituary for the late Idinjai. And the third one, that was the one obituary, the second obituary, which I had to improvise. And that was when we were in the old place at Marina Parade. And the then Minister for Agriculture, Aman Kanyi, died he had gone to England on an official visit, and he passed away. And the news came and we had to broadcast this, and tributes kept being sent into Radio Gambia, and I kept reading them out, and then it would be read in Wolof and then in Mandinka, and all. That was the order it came in those days. And I thought to myself, well, everybody's paying tribute. What is Radio Gambia doing? What is our contribution? So I had to improvise, and I had to substitute words to a poem I'd learned, which I knew. And if I can just say it very quickly. I said, with proud thanksgiving, Gambia mourns for her dearly beloved son. Flesh of our flesh he was, spirit of our spirit, fallen in the cause of his mission. He shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary him, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember him. He mingles not with his laughing comrades again. He sits no more at familiar tables at home. He has no he has no share in our pleasures of the daytime. He sleeps beneath Gambia's soil. I said this has been Radio Gambia's contribution to the late Aman Kanyi MP. And when I closed the station, my then boss, Badulo, he used to live at Private Street, drove his car, came over to Radio Gambia to congratulate me. That's, it was sad. It was a sad occasion.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was Idinjai.
Actually, Badulo and is this Aman Kanyi or Idinjai?
Idinjai was the first obituary I read at mile 7.
Yes, but the tribute you did was for Aman Kanyi.
Yeah, that was at the old station where we opened 6 to 8:30.
Okay, Aman Kanyi used to live at New Primate Street, just the junction of Boxbar, New Primate Street.
I think so, yes.
Very well, very well. Then, Joe, let's move to another facet of your career, and this is where the tourism thing came in. You were liaison officer at the High Commission in London.
No, attaché.
Attaché. Yeah. At the High Commission in London. How was it like moving from broadcasting to promotion?
There were similarities. I must say there were similarities because I would attend tourism fairs, exhibitions, where our job or our role was to promote and market the Gambia.